Okay, so here we have row 1 of the pattern already completed, and this tutorial is going to follow the extra small version of the pattern. So we're going to go ahead and continue on with row 2 now. And row 2 calls for 8 half double crochet to begin the row, and I've already chained 1 and turned my work. So 1 half double crochet, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Okay, the next thing the pattern calls for is to skip the next stitch, which would be this one right here. And then we're going to put a puff stitch, a chain 1, and a puff stitch all in the next stitch. So this particular pattern calls for a puff stitch that has 3 yarn overs. So that's 1, 2, and 3. And we should have 7 loops on the hook. Let's count that before we yarn over. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then you yarn over and pull through all 7 to complete. Okay, now a normal puff stitch uses a chain 1 to complete it, but we're not going to do that in this pattern. We're only placing a chain 1 in between the 2 puff stitches just to separate them. So I am going to go ahead and chain 1 here, but only because I'm separating this puff stitch from the next one. So remember, we're placing 1 more puff stitch into this same stitch. And that's the next puff stitch complete, and we're not going to chain 1 after that one. Okay, so here's what we should have so far. So now we're going to go ahead and skip the next stitch, and we're going to place 8 more half double crochet across the next 8 stitches. So that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Okay, now we're going to repeat the puff stitch pattern or sequence. Skipping that stitch, we're going to place a puff stitch and then a chain 1 and then another puff stitch, all in the same stitch, just like that. Okay, and to continue this row, you'll just continue that same pattern all the way across. So from here, you would skip the next stitch, then you would place 8 half double crochet, the puff stitch sequence, and then so forth all the way to the end of the row.